Hey, what's going on? Welcome along to episode 21. I'm Jamie Michael Joseph. I'm joined by Mark Tanner, and this is the Strategy and Conversions podcast. Mark, tell us what we're going to be talking about today then, mate.
Well, morning all. Today, what we're going to talk about is a thing called omnipresence, marketing omnipresence. Basically, that means being visible in as many places as possible. So the reason for this is that marketing nowadays, as we know, is not kind of build it and they will come along. It's not that so much of a luxury anymore, or we do a little dabble a bit here and they dabble a bit there and something happens. There's so much stuff around. There's so much stuff and so much noise around that marketing is now really a requirement, a daily requirement where we've got to be out there giving our message. And especially when people start out in business or start out with a new product or a new service, we need to have this omnipresence. So we're just trying to create as much awareness as possible on different media channels, all different social media, even offline, I guess, to a certain extent. The whole idea being that we create an awareness of where we are first before we start to think, before we look at then what is the channel that's best working for us. So before we decide to focus on that one. So for example, there's people who love LinkedIn, but what they're doing is they're going into LinkedIn only and ignoring Facebook and especially Instagram, which is becoming a bigger source of leads, and even Twitter, which I know I don't use, which I was guilty of, as probably many people, but Twitter's still the source. And if you're not onto all those different platforms, just first of all to get a presence. And even pointing people in the direction to where to the website or whatever. But the point is, you've got to be creating that awareness. And like we've always said, if you're not doing it, you've got an expensive hobby. You don't have a business, because there's so many people doing it. If you're not in the game, unfortunately, nowadays the bar has raised. If you're not in the game, you will just be playing at that kind of that business. So it's all about creating that big awareness first, even on Facebook ads or Google ads. The campaigns now, you'll find a lot of people that start, they're not really trying to sell much. They're creating an awareness to get you into their list or into their ecosystem. And it's that kind of that very, very initial phase that nowadays has just become it's something we need to do. We must be doing, because otherwise we're going to be falling behind.
Wow. I think that the last couple of minutes there just kind of put everything in one place, didn't it? I mean, that there is so powerful. Once you get your head around that, I mean, it puts you in a new place to start with your marketing. I think, over the last 20 episodes of the podcast, I think we've touched on this in different areas and stuff like that. And I think this is where we're kind of bringing it in one place, where we spoke in the early podcasts about the kind of 7 touches of sales. Yeah, people need to hear from you kind of several times, but before they buy. We did the whole episode about double your sales, and we said about most businesses are only putting in 2 touch points. But
exactly right.
5. What we're doing with that kind of front end marketing now, that omnipresence, is that kind of shop window where we're letting people know we're in business and how we can help. And that point that you made about people are running ads now not to get the sale. They're just trying to get people into their ecosystem. I mean, that there is the state of ads where we are right now. We do have I think there is still an element to Google ads where, especially on the local business front, if someone's looking for something, just say, for instance, their car's broken down or their heating's broken down, they're looking for a plumber and they're seeing the ad, and that plumber can come out, it says call out straight away and stuff like that. It does have that place. But for most businesses, we're looking at pulling people in and giving them the information, and then offering the transformation. Whereas, maybe 5, maybe even 3 years ago, you could get away with running ads, or even just posting out on social media saying, "I can help you here. It's this amount of money. Come and buy."
And we talked last podcast, didn't we? We talked about the whole marketing, the restaurant type thing of marketing, or restaurants have that shop window, and that's as a service, you don't have a physical presence on the high street, so people don't know your products and don't know who you are. So you've got to create that you've got to create that shop window, and you don't just want to create the shop window for one person that walks down the street. You're only creating a shop window that gets as many people walking up and down the street as possible. So again, coming back, using the social media analogy, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got, there's you've even got things like WhatsApp and Messenger. They're all channels now that can be used. And I know it seems like we're bombarding people with messages, but that's exactly what's happening. We're being bombarded every day anyway. So, and if you're not in that game, then that you're falling behind it to some degree. And as I said, I know a couple of people now who just focus on LinkedIn. That's all they do on LinkedIn. And you think, yeah, but is all your target market on LinkedIn? Because some may be, but Instagram is becoming quite a big force in this, but much bigger than it was a couple of years ago, when Instagram was still, people thought, well, it's full of little cat pictures and all this kind of stuff. It's now far more. Of course, that still goes on, but it's far more of a kind of business area where people are on Instagram all the time, simply because mobile phone technology is here to stay, and people use their phones all day long. I'm probably one of the few people that love working on a PC or a laptop, because most people love using their phone.
I think that's a great example there, though, isn't it? Of just you as an individual. I prefer working on the computer. Is that there'll be some people out there that go, oh yeah, my target market, they prefer working on the computer, but actually, you still do stuff on the phone.
Oh yeah, of course I do. Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, and I think sometimes we talked about that whole kind of niching, and especially with the avatars and stuff like that, is it drills down too much sometimes.
Yes,
at that beginning. I think that's the same as with marketing and just in general. Is I think there's lots of kind of teaching out there, and we've been through this so many times where I said, look, so much stuff out there is diluted. In like what it's trying to tell you to do is drill down so much that yes, you get a quick win. Yes, you pick up some business or you get some sort of result, and that's great. But when it comes to scaling, when it comes to that kind of growth area, you kind of hit a ceiling, and then you can get past that ceiling. And don't get me wrong, I mean, if you're like a sole trader and you're just looking to make a bit of extra money, or you're just I just need 30, 50K a year or something like that, and I'm fine. Yeah, you could probably spend all your days on LinkedIn and pick up your clients and make things work. That's fine. But if you're getting into that kind of business realm and you need to start bringing in money or predictable lead generation to pay for wages, to pay for, machinery and premises and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You need to look at, okay, where are leads coming from? And what happens is when you don't test, and I think that's probably a key word here, is test.
No, absolutely.
We're putting a lot of marketing out there and we're seeing what's happening. Yeah. So that we can take the next step and pay some more attention. So I'll give a quick example with this. I'm not sure if I mentioned this on one of the early podcasts or not, but years back, I was working with a company, they're an electrician company, and we were putting stuff out on Facebook. They were just like, we want to get some more leads coming in. The business is growing. We need to get more working for the guys. And we need to make sure, obviously, the money's coming in to be able to pay that. So yeah. We went through the kind of list of services that they did, and we put together different campaigns, the stuff going out on social media. And what we've seen there is that security devices were getting a lot of traction. They were getting a lot of awareness. So as soon as we put stuff out about security devices, we had people commenting, people liking, and stuff like that, especially on Facebook. So we could see out of everything, there was more demand here.
Yeah.
So we started creating more content around that, and it got into the case then there were different kind of blog posts and sales pages on their website. We had different ads running there and targeting their area. And within the space of about a year, security was contributing 30% to their turnover.
Yeah.
It's like they weren't even doing it before. It was a case of, if someone asked them, if they could do alarms or CCTV and all this kind of stuff, they'd say, we can do that.
Yeah.
But they were never pushing it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just by flipping it around and pushing it out there, lots more people were coming in. And that has a knock-on effect as well, because someone has a good job done, they tell someone else and someone else gets it done. We've talked about that compound effect of local business marketing. But it also has a knock-on effect for their other products as well.
Yeah.
As soon as someone says, do you know an electrician? It's, so-and-so did our alarms. They do house rewiring as well. All that stuff happens there. And all that came from looking at the data. So it came from
and that's why it's
stuff out there.
Yeah, and it's I've coached quite a few different businesses where they've always asked me the question, well, how do I know if this is working or not? And is this working? And how do I know how well this has been received? And I just always go back and say, look at the numbers. The numbers never lie. If you're not keeping track of the numbers, you'll never have an idea.
Yeah.
So you need to, when you test, you need to be really, really, you need to know those numbers. You really need to be on the ball, because as soon as you see, like you said, with these, the electrician with the security devices, as soon as you see the numbers suddenly grow in this one area, you think, oh, that's interesting. And that's something to investigate. It's not necessarily the thing you suddenly leap into, because there could be all sorts of reasons why it's spiked. But if it's continually spiking all the time and you're looking into it, then as you say, you think, right, okay, let's test now putting out more content about that and see the response. And if that carries on, then you know you've hit the gold mine, you've hit the seam. And as you say, you've got like it's almost like an arrow, isn't it? You have all these products below you, but you're leading with this one product, which is the tip of the arrow, which is the one that gets people in. And then they look and say, or they'll say, I need my house rewiring, or I need this. Do you do that as well? Yeah, of course we do. And all of a sudden they can suddenly see that all the other products are available. But it all starts from nailing, if you like, the one that people really are interested in. Because I know we've talked about this before, is they want security devices, but actually also what they need is their house rewired, or they need, if they're in a business, they need a landlord, for example, they need all their EICR, they need all the electricity circuitry checked and everything. And now they don't know that they need it. They don't want it because they think, I don't want that. But they actually need it. I mean, you need this by law. So they need it. And that's all of a sudden where you say, well, you actually have to have this. And so we can do it for this. And all of a sudden that kind of unawareness turns into actually, that would be good. Yeah, I do want that as well. And so you can start bringing in your other products from someone, again, like we were talking before, because they've initially opened their wallet to you. They've gone on and bought one of your services that they really, really wanted. So now you're showing them what else they actually need in their lives.
No, we did a whole, I think it was a good 2 hours worth of training on sales funnels, right? The other week. And, we looked at that about, okay, look, what actually brings them in?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily exactly what they need, but we're giving them what they want initially, so we can then show them what they need. And I think that's so powerful, where I think a lot of, I want to say businesses, but we're looking at individuals as well with the way they're marketing, is there's always about the sell. It's always just saying, do you need help with this? Do you need help with that? And as soon as someone shows a bit of interest, all of a sudden they go in on the attack, to try and get the sell, when it's not always needed, I mean, and sometimes that can put people off as well. And people go, they're just trying to get my money. They're just trying to sell to me rather than trying to help me or educate me, or even help someone take that next step, so that when they want to take the step after, they come to you for your services. I think so many people are missing out on that kind of marketing, because they're always thinking, where's the sell? Where do I get the money?
And that's the thing, isn't it? Again, I know I talk about this an awful lot, especially from the copy point of view. But anyway, just in sales is a conversation. It's not a sale. It's not if you start saying to people, you need this, they back away. The people back away. No, I don't know if I do. Okay, so the word need, you've got to kind of like take out of your vocabulary and put and change that round. So again, it comes down to words and things and the way you talk. Change that word need round for, well, I would recommend that this could be something that will be useful to you, for example. And that's giving them the power to make the decision. You haven't made the decision for them, saying you need this. That just creates a defensive reaction. But when you actually put the seed in their head and then they make the decision themselves, bang, you've got them, because they think, actually, I do need that. And they will use the word need. That's fine. But you don't use the word need to explain to them what they want. So if they do it themselves, and I need to have this, that's perfect, because that's their buying signal. That's great. But so if you tell them what they need, and that's what sales does. The kind of the old classical sales. You need this, you need that. They'll back off. But the conversations are, how can I help? Is this something that could be useful to you? And all of a sudden, you ask the questions. I always like. I mean, this is not just me, because God blimey, I've been in sales and marketing for a fraction of the time compared to so many other people, really. But it's all about the questions, isn't it? It's those questions. It's the more we question people, the more we unearth what's going on in their business without seeming to be really obtrusive. And once you get to the right question and make them think, get them to think about what they don't have, and then they can start in their own head thinking of what they need. And once they're thinking that way, then that's when the sale takes place.
Yeah, totally. I think there's an element there of where that kind of dilution has come about as well. Because like you said, the truth is, look, the ball is always in the court of the customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always for them to make the decision on how they want to take the next step. And of course, with some of the messaging, with some of the marketing that we do, we can educate them, we can nurture them, we can direct them into, taking that next step, or even planting that seed, or whatever it is. But I think a lot of what gets taught out there is that you need to persuade, you need to convince people to buy from you because they need this, and everything like that. And what happens is that, you will pick up some business, but again, look, you can't put together a predictable acquisition system that you can scale or use, or use time and time again, or even look at developing a system there where you can bring in different front end traffic and how much it's going to cost you, and put stuff in kind of even to kind of automated level, or even to a case where you're outsourcing different parts, or you're bringing different people in. Because if you're always trying to convince people or persuade people, you have no marketing system. All you're trying to do is that secondhand car salesman. As soon as someone pulls up, it's just like pounce on.
Yeah.
How can I help?
And persuasion and convincing have become nowadays, haven't they? But kind of almost synonymous with manipulation. And so, it's a very, very emotive word to use, manipulation. As a person who and this, I think this is something, again, you've got to get out of your thinking altogether. Selling is about helping people to bridge a gap. You're not manipulating to try and make believe they have that gap, because some don't. Some people don't have that gap. But what you're trying to do is draw awareness to the fact that there is a gap. And if you're not in this position, there's something that needs to be bridged, and you may have the solution, but you always are giving them the option to say, do you have this gap in your business? Is there something you need to bridge that gap? And I've used the word need already. Is there something that would help you to bridge that gap? And it's all that word help, things like words like help and support, those kind of things, where people think, actually, I could do that. And I think I do need that in my business. As I say, when they use the word need or what they want, that's fine. But that's a word that as a marketer, we need to get out of our vocabulary. That kind of whole idea of convincing, persuading, manipulating is, we just got to remove that altogether. What you're doing is you're helping and supporting them.
And that's it as well. I think there's a massive part there, a big takeaway for you listening, is that when you're trying to convince or persuade someone to come in and buy from you, you're looking at your need, you're looking at what you want someone to do, rather than how you're helping them. Once you look at your product or service and you look at how that gives someone a transformation, how that gives someone that kind of next result that they want, it's a totally different ballgame then, because the way you're marketing is that how it helps. So all you're saying is, look, there's this, there's that, and we can help you. And we were doing some training the other week for a new training to put into Progression Club. Like, quick plug, we've got Progression Club. It's a great little kind of development membership that we have, where look, you get our support, you get our training. There's so much in there. We'll put a link in the chat to go and check it out. But it's on like an introductory rate at the minute, so you can log in. But one of these trainings that we're putting together was all about the pyramid of awareness. So we've got the different levels of awareness there, and there are people who they're aware of the problem that they have. They're aware that that there is a solution for it, and they're aware that you provide that solution, and they've got the money in their hand and they're ready to buy. But there's also every other kind of competitor looking at that customer as well.
Yeah.
When we look at the different kind of levels of awareness, we can then start to put stuff in place to, just give them that awareness level, that, okay, we can help you with this, or the reason that you're not getting to where you want to be is because of this problem. And that's where we're kind of planting that seed. And what we're doing is we're giving them the value, but we're also then putting in place the intrigue. So they're going, okay, look, what is this all about? We want to know a bit more. And then we're putting in place the desire. Yeah, they do want the desired outcome.
Yeah.
And all that there builds out your authority. So we're not just talking the know, like, and trust, which is important because people buy from people, but why is it they should buy from you? What's the authority that you put into the market? And that all comes back to your marketing.
Yeah, it does. It's the education. I mean, education is so important now, and there's a phrase that came to my mind. I'm sure I haven't made this up. I'm sure I read this from some other people, but the whole thing called value-based marketing, where you're actually showing the value that you provide. And it's all about that value, isn't it? Every time. It's not about what you want. There's a great analogy, isn't it? If you go and chase a cat, you'll never catch it, or very seldom will you catch it. But if you let the cat come to you, then you can pet it, you can stroke it, you can do what you like, So the whole value-based marketing is that you're putting out there the value that you provide, and you're educating. This is a huge thing, isn't it? The education now, which and building that authority. So you're educating and showing and giving your expertise, and then you're giving authority through testimonials, all sorts of different things of the way you can do that. But once you do that, you attract that cat to come to you. And this is what it's all about. The value-based marketing is all about attraction marketing rather than push marketing, pushing the message. You put your message out there, but rather than that kind of pushy type marketing, which still goes on and probably still turns a massive amount of people off. What you're doing is, like, the attraction marketing, the whole idea of the magnet is all based around educating and showing what you provide.
Yeah, I think you've said this before on a couple of podcasts, is that you said that people love to buy.
Yeah.
They just hate to be sold to.
Yeah.
And what's happened, I think, is that marketing has become that front end now, where, it's not even that sales conversation. It comes back to just marketing, where if you're trying to sell your products or services to someone straight away, they're put off because they're just like, you don't even know me. Like what's going on?
Yeah.
And we did another training, didn't we, where we said about the whole kind of marriage thing, where we said, look, you don't just walk up and say, do you want to get married?
You want to get married, yeah.
But it's all about, look, do you want to grab Nando's? There's not much to lose from that. You can go and have a meal, and you can then go your separate way if it doesn't work out. And that's all we need to do with our marketing, is that we're just saying, look, let's have a conversation. It doesn't even need to be a proper conversation. It's just that you're looking at what we have here that we're saying can help you. Or even, like you say, case studies and stuff like that are great as well, because it's just letting people know what's worked, for other people. And I know we spoke about different things on training, about how we're going to put in to the likes of Progression Club and different things that we do, where, look, we're going to show what's worked before for us with clients. We're going to show what hasn't worked as well, because there is that element of figuring out what's going to work.
Yeah.
Whereas, most of the time when it hasn't worked is when someone's trying to do something with no research or with no educated data behind it, that they're just going, this is what I want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's right. And often it can be the wrong thing. And just going back to your case study thing, one of the big part of case studies, and this is a nugget for all you people listening. One of the big part of case studies that is missed out, and in fact is probably the most important, is why that person came to you. So not this person wanted this, and they came, and you could help them. That's all great stuff. But it's, why did they come to you rather than the other millions of people that are offering the same product? Because you're going to have that person reading a case study who's thinking, I've got this challenge as well. And they said, this person had this challenge, and they came to me because da 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 da. And that other person reading is going to think, wow, that's exactly where I am. best check this out a bit further. And that whole little message of why they came to you, without, we don't mention the other millions they could have gone to. So they came to me because this is what I offered. And that is gold dust, absolute gold dust.
Definitely. I think that's worth listening to this podcast just for that part there.
Yeah.
Because, we're talking about the levels of awareness, and we said about the people who are aware that they have the problem, they're aware that they have the solution, they're ready to spend their money. There's also that little part under that where they're aware of the problem, they're aware of the solution, but they're a bit unsure who they're going to spend their money with.
Yeah.
And that stuff there is that all they're looking to see is that you've done it with someone before.
Yeah.
Just so that proof is there that you can go, okay, this person has achieved the results that I want.
Yeah.
And this is the proof here. And look, I think that is a part of the problem with marketing on that persuasion part of, there's lots of sharks out there who are saying, yeah, I can help you get this and I can help you get that, and it's just like, I see it all the time. There's like Facebook messages that come through that says, we're helping clients make $1 million a month through our program. Would you like our free template? It's like, so you're saying to me that I can have a free template to make $1 million a month?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Come on.
How's that going to work?
Exactly. But it's just like, and that flip side as well, it's just like, well, look, if you were just making $1 million a month from this template and you're getting different clients in, you probably need our help to look at a different business model, because just doing the stuff where you're sending messages out is not the way forward. You're always going to be doing that if that's how you're doing things. Whereas there's a different business models where you could take profit shares from the ones that you set up if you were really making $1 million a month. But the truth is they're not. And all they're trying to do is just get some clients in. So they'll probably give away a template and then say, oh yeah, by the way, we can help you with this in our next program.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, that is the lead to get people in if they ever believe it. You've got to think about, if someone's actually doing $1 million a month, they must have a massive. They must have the biggest. They've probably got the population of the world as their list.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want that? That's the thing. If that is the case, if you had something that made someone $1 million or £1 million a month, like, it would be in demand. Because the thing is as well is that if you could do that, you could easily charge 100K for it, because you're going to get that outcome for people. That's the thing where you're not going to sell it for, you're not going to give it away for free. You're not going to sell it for $7. You're not going to sell it for £99. You're not going to do that thing because it's just too unbelievable. And I think, and
I think this is where I think this is obviously the sophistication of the buyers as well. Because most buyers, unless they're incredibly naive, most buyers will look at that and just think, oh, no, and move on. Because it's too incredible to believe. This is again another kind of a bit of a nugget, but it's fairly obvious, really. You've got to make something that sounds achievable to draw people in. $1 million, £1 million, whatever. £1,000, I'll say that £10,000 a month. Yeah, that's far more believable. £1,000 a month. Yeah, okay, that maybe seem too cheap for someone. I'm not sure, but the whole point is they're believable. They can see, they can figure what a lot of people don't even know how to write 1 million. How many noughts are involved? And envisaging that in your head, it's just. I know it's all. I understand the whole thing about thinking big and everything, but you've got to make it realistic to a certain extent, so that people can just stretch a little bit their imagination to think, I know what £10,000 a month looks like, or I can imagine it. Yeah,
I think that the big thing there, like you said, there's no issue with thinking big. That kind of dumb goal that you've been through before, is fine, but we also need the smart goal then. And I think a lot of the problem. Not even this dilution, it's more just the problem that has been within marketing. And I think we have turned the corner now. I think we are in that stage where we've come out of it, because lots of people have woke up to the marketing world. But it used to be a case of, there were all these kind of promises out there. It was, get rich quick, do this within a weekend, and you're set for life, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And all it was just people just trying to get you in. Whereas a lot of people in the game now, of the, I don't know what kind of word to say. I'm going to say experts, maybe, the kind of marketing experts who are out there. they are being transparent where they're saying, look, you can achieve this, but it's hard work.
But it's hard work, and that's
you need to be prepared to put in the effort. You need to be prepared to put in the money, you know, and to make things happen.
And this is coming back to when we were talking about the omnipresence of the message. The message is on all the channels, but the whole message is that we can do this, we can support you, we can help you with this, but it isn't a magic wand. This is going to take work, this is going to take time, and you've got to make realistic promises. So I've seen copy now that comes out that says we can get you to this point, we can get you there, but it's going to take 9 months of quite reason. You've got to apply yourself. So that straight away you think, oh, 9 months, I'm not going to get it overnight. No, you're not. But if you put the work in and follow the instructions of someone who's done it before, and they're telling you up front that it's not overnight. Whoever's telling you it'll happen overnight, they're just talking rubbish, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we've got another kind of shout out for ourselves, right? But look, we've got programs where we have Momentum Assist, and we have Momentum Accelerator, and these programs here, one is 6 months and one is 12 months. And the reason that time frame is that we put stuff in place to get it working, but we need to build on top of that to make it sustainable, and to make it keep working. Whereas a lot of the kind of promises out there have been, okay, look, all you need is this. I think you said it before as well, turnkey product. Is that all you do is just plug it in and it works and it makes you money, and it's like it just isn't out there. And if it is, I'd take two. Exactly. It's like that's the thing, isn't it? Is that you just need it to be a case of, okay, you can make this happen. It's going to take a bit of effort, but the whole point here is that we have the framework to help you achieve it.
That's it, isn't it? That's the secret, isn't it? So you're not on your own. We're going to help you, especially the Momentum Assist packages that we have. You're not on your own. This is the whole point. We're going to help you with this, and we're going to really give you some personal attention. This is, again, another plug for our products, I know. But that's the point, isn't it? Sometimes you get a lot of stuff where people are say, this is the information, there you go. And information on its own is worthless, because even if you implement it, sometimes your implementation is wrong, or it's not quite implemented the right way. So the whole point is there, say, look, this is the information, we're going to help you to implement it, but we'll guide you the right way to implement it to get the results that you want. So there's a kind of that mentoring type thing in there as well. And the reason we say that is because we've done it, we've implemented, and we've got those results. We've seen those results. So through case studies and stuff, you can show people that we've put that in place, and these are the results. These are the results that people have had. So again, going back to the all message, the person's message who's putting out their awareness is that, how do I know? The question is why. The question is, I know in my copy I keep talking about different questions. It's why should I listen? I think is one of them. So that's the headline of everything. And then it goes on, why should I listen to you? And that's because you have a solution. And then it's kind of, why should I work with you? And that's the question of, why should I work with you as opposed to the million of other people who are selling what they appear to be exactly the same stuff. And that's when you say, well, you work with me because these are people who have, this is why they came to me, and this is what they achieved. And
as well, mate, like that whole competition side has changed as well, where your competition now isn't just the people who are selling the same thing as you. It's ever people who are selling something that client wants, because the client is hit with so many different selling messages and buying messages each day. They're just frazzled by how many messages they're getting that they switch off then. So you could be offering, you could say to them, I'm going to give you the winning lottery numbers for next week, all right? But because they've seen so many people try and sell nonsense to them, they just put you in the same category. They just switch it off, and that's why that authority side needs to come through. That people start to take notice, and I guess that's where we're coming full circle back to that omnipresence. Is that the omnipresence side? I liken it to opening up your shop window each day. So you let people know that you're in business, they can come in and buy from you. And I also look at it as we're putting the fishing rod out. You know,
Yeah.
so what we're doing here is, you know, if we're just using one platform, for example, we're putting one fishing rod out.
Yeah.
Right, but if we're using different platforms, well, we're putting different fishing rods
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now our boat has several different fishing rods out
Yeah.
doing different things for us, right?
Yeah.
That there is the omnipresence. That there is just making sure people know that we're in business. This is what we do. We're here if they need us. You know, that's the big thing. We're here if they need us. You know, we're not saying you need to come here because you need us. We're saying, look, we're here if you need us.
Yeah.
And
Exactly
then
right.
that there is that front end, is that the awareness side.
Yeah.
What happens next, that value-based marketing, is more about the marketing strategy side. So
Yeah.
it's the case of is that awareness side then moves into the value-based, and that's where we get to extract people, and that's where we get to look at what's working and how we can build on top of that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, is that, you know, Instagram is a weird platform. You know, I think it's a lot bigger in the States than what it is in the UK.
Yeah.
But if you take advantage of it, you can really make it work for you. You know, if you really get into the video side and the reels and all this kind of stuff, and you do the whole kind of like the TikTok stuff with it, you know, you know, you can really make that work for you. The same as, you know, if you're in certain areas, certain industries, and you spend a lot of time on Twitter, and you know you are getting involved in you are putting messages on different kind of updates, and you are, you know, communicating with different people, you can really make that work for you. Whereas what a lot of people do with marketing is they do the omnipresent style, where they just put stuff out there and let people know that they're in business, and they say, buy my stuff, without ever getting involved or, you know, showing their worth or anything like that. They're not even marketing, they're broadcasting.
So broadcast, yeah, exactly right.
That's the thing. They're just broadcasting out there.
Yeah.
And that's it. Whereas, like you said, that value-based, that intent-based marketing is that next step then. And that's how we pull people back with the whole kind of strategy side.
And going back to what we said earlier, marketing is a conversation. So it's not a broadcast. It's not a one-way saying, this is me, and then walking away. It's a conversation. And a conversation means that if you get the engagement from somebody, they say, oh, that sounds really good. You don't just ignore it. You then reply to them. You start a conversation. And that's, you know, this is the whole point. Social media, okay, on social media, you're writing the conversation or your video, whatever, but it's still a conversation. And eventually you can pull them off that social media and actually have a live Facebook, a Zoom call with them, or actually nowadays, hopefully, even get maybe a live meeting with them. But the whole point is, this is where when people say, when I say to people, sales is a conversation, you get a lot of them say, yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. And then you go onto LinkedIn, and this has happened quite a few times with me because I use LinkedIn a lot. Someone puts up a post I read it and say, oh, great, yeah, sounds good. And they've asked a question at the bottom, like, you know, what do you think about this? And I've written back and I've done, this sounds quite good. Don't get an answer. Just crickets. Don't get anything at all. That, to my, it's just, I've showed an interest in what they're writing about. Now, the logical thing is I could become possibly a customer of theirs.
Yeah.
But they don't even follow that up. They don't even follow that conversation up.
And that's, you know, going back to that, mate, I mean, social media is a massive one, isn't it? Is that the key is in the name, social.
Yeah.
It's not broadcast media.
No.
That's the thing. It's all about social media. The more conversations that you can have, the better. And look, do you know what? I think every kind of platform, as soon as it gets a bit of traction, the marketers get in there. You know, there's lots of sales messages going on and stuff like that. I mean, I know it as well that, you know, my LinkedIn, the amount of messages I have in my inbox, you know, is insane because, you know, you can just tell. I mean, sometimes you get that little preview that comes up about what the message is about. Yeah. And you can just tell straight away the way it starts off that you're just like, it's just a sales message. Yeah. You know, you're not even interested in what I do or even helping me. It's just a sales message.
And that's the thing. And a lot of the ones I've got, because I've got loads of, you never even heard of them before. And bang, you get a direct message and you think, I don't even know you. And you're trying to get me to come on this webinar.
That's exactly it, man. I mean, the best one is that you can tell when they haven't even looked at, like, you know, what you bring to the table and stuff like that. And it's like, not to say this in a way where, you know, to come across quite vain or full of myself, because I'm not that way. I'm actually totally the opposite. But I know the level that I'm at. So that when I'm getting a message in the inbox, it says, "Oh, we've put together this training that can help X, Y, Z." It's like, yeah, I've probably like, that kind of training is the smallest step on the ladder, and it's like I'm already, towards the top here.
Yeah.
It's like, and like I said, I think there's value in that training, obviously, but it's just that you're not even looking at how you can help me. You're just interested in getting me to sign up for this training.
Yeah, exactly. And that there's another LinkedIn message I got recently, which is quite interesting. Where somebody starts off with, I've read your and I've read and I've made I've read and I've commented on a lot of your posts, and I'd love you to come to this webinar. And you think, so that all their comments and all the engagement was, but they weren't interested. They were just thinking, oh, okay, this is a tick box. I've got to do this, and then I'll sell to them. Yeah. And again, you can read through that straight away. So you just think, sorry.
I had one recently, mate. It was one of those that the connection request came through. I accepted it, and the message came in straight away. And it was that, oh, we create these reports for businesses to send to their clients and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's not what we do, And it was just like, just blatant sales message.
Yeah.
So I just sent one back straight away. I was just like, look, we have no need for this, as we don't do this with our clients, but we'll keep it in mind if a client needs it. However, obviously you are looking to generate more leads and client acquisition. But we have a couple of programs that could really help you, if you're looking to build out a sustainable acquisition system. And it was just like, the message that come back was just like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, look, to complete that game. But for one, I can fully help you if you're trying to get more leads for this software, which the software looked all right in all fairness.
Yeah.
It's like, well, look, we can definitely help you, but you're not interested. That's the point. You're not interested. So instead of just sending out that broadcast message, if you would have sent a message saying, hey, look, is there a way how we can help each other? Because you obviously have the client types that, would suit this. Is there a way which we can get you to check it out and see if it makes sense to, recommend to your audience?
And that's what you're asking for is a conversation. Because the conversation, the conversation there is that, this is stuff that could help you. Is it of any use to you? And if they say no, actually, because of this, then you say, great, all right, fine, okay.
Yeah.
But that's what you're giving them. That's still going back to what we were saying at the beginning. The choice is with them. You give them the choice, and you could come back and say, well, is it something that could be of interest in the future? And they may say, no, maybe not. They say, yeah, actually, it could be. So I'll keep you. Fine, you've got a kind of a contact that maybe a month later that you can follow up and say, hi, I know we made contact before. Is there anything I can help you with? Very, very simple little message, but because they made the contact.
We've had that, over the years, where conversations from 3 years ago, and then the client comes to you when they need you. Yeah. That's the big thing there. But there's another one just to give you listening, just a bit of a laugh with this one. I can remember having a message come through. I can't remember if it was LinkedIn or Facebook. This was a couple of years ago. And it was someone that said, look, we've put together this this new kind of dashboard that does all this and does all that, this software. It's all singing, all dancing. We would love for you to check it out and give us your opinion, because we value it and all this kind of stuff. So I can remember going, yeah, do you know what? Like, I'm happy to have a look at it and let you know. And the message come back then with a link to the sales page, to the checkout page. And it's like, yes, $199 a month. So if you sign up now, we'll give you access to check it out. And it's like, hang on.
Yeah, whoa, hang on. That's not what we're
I thought you were asking me to help, to get my opinion, to see what I think, or a testimony or whatever it is. But no, it was straight into the, we want you to check this out, to give us your opinion, but we want you to pay for it as well.
And that comes back to something I talk about a lot is when you're having these conversations. So you have these messages going back to we're educating, we're building our authority, building our trust, and people are getting to, it could be quite interesting. If you come out with a message like that and you lose the trust instantly, and I don't think, unless something radical happens, you'll ever rebuild it.
Yeah, totally.
I think once you've lost that trust, then everyone's going to look at even if they remain on your list or whatever, they're going to be cynical every time they look at your post in the future.
This guy with the software message that he said about the reporting stuff. I mean, straight away, I was just like, I can see a need for this. right? I think it could work, you know. But the point is that the message that came to me was just such a sales message
Yeah.
that I'm just like, well, are they even going to care about our clients?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
why
You
would I
know,
even,
that's
why
right.
would I even entertain that? Because it just seems that you're just trying to get the money and run.
Yeah.
You know, you're not even interested in how it's going to help me move to my
Yeah.
next step or anything like that. And I think probably, mate, that's a good time to look to wrap things up.
Okay. Yeah.
And just, I guess, to kind of summarize this episode, I guess what we're looking at is omnipresence being that kind of shop window. You're
Yeah.
letting people know you're in business and how you can help them, and opening up that channel to have those conversations. The good thing there as well is that you can actually see what's getting traction and what isn't,
Yeah.
so that you can plan the next steps then in your marketing and how you can add more value and how you can bring that extraction point then to pull people into your kind of, acquisition system, into your ecosystem there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And remove the word need. Don't tell people what they need. In fact, this is the big thing I talk about an awful lot, is that in business, you've got to almost remove your ego completely. So your ego is telling them that they need you. They don't need you. No one, there's so many suppliers around that offer not same thing, but offer something similar. They don't need you, but they want to work with you if you give them the right information.
And that's exactly it, isn't it? You're giving them the information for why they would want to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly it. And I guess as well, just kind of summing up on that, where we talked about the next step then around the strategy side. I think with marketing, sometimes marketing gives so much overwhelm to people. And it's usually what happens is it just comes down to them not knowing what to do next.
Yeah.
And the whole point here, that this kind of omnipresence is just shop window. Let people know what you do, how you do it, and how you can help them. You're putting that messaging out there. You then get to plan on that next step, because the whole point of marketing is that it should be a case of it flows. It doesn't become a chore. It is actually something that gets you excited to do, because you are showing people how you can help them, and basically it is bringing clients on board. But it's just getting to that step. It takes a bit of planning, and and again, mate, I mean, this is a shameless plug for us as well, but it comes back to that support. It's having someone on your side who maybe has been there before, or has basically definitely done what you need to do, and they're already aware of shortcutting the issues. I think that the biggest kind of pain that I see is the people who have been doing stuff for so long and then not getting the results they want. And the reason that they're not getting the results they want is that they keep repeating the same problems.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just that they never get over that hurdle for what they need to do. And all they need is someone just to say, look, stop doing that, start doing this. And I think that is the big thing. And whether it's us or whether it's someone else, they'll get some help from someone who can help you. And obviously that we know what we bring to the table, so we'll say pick us. But we'll put some links within wherever you're listening or watching this, so you can check out how we can help you. And look, get in touch. I mean, if there's something you want us to talk about on the podcast, or there's something we've mentioned that you're just like, absolutely, I'm not too sure about this, how it could help me and stuff like that, send it through. Email address is contact@strategyandconversions.com. But we're on all the social platforms as well, so go and follow us, subscribe, comment, support us so we can support you.
Absolutely right.
But look, I hope that helps for today's episode. Is there anything else you want to cover, Mark?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just, as I say, the omnipresence thing, like we just mentioned, just paraphrase, it is your shop window. If you don't have a shop window, no one is even going to know you exist.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. I think that's a good point to end on there. So we'll wrap things up. It's always been a pleasure. We'll see you next time.